Thanks for tuning in to Barbershop Sports Talk.
Oh, we're back with Barbershop Sports Talk, and we still have Kenny Sim with us, scouting expert for 247 Sports. So, Kenny, I'm going to talk about the NFL. Week 3. So, big game tonight. You have the Saints, who are coming off a loss to the the now Las Vegas Raiders, and they're playing the Packers. And the Packers won. And I think that game was really interesting because I think sometimes when we talk about Green Bay, we think it's all Aaron Rodgers. But, Matt LaFleur is a pretty good head coach. I think we have to start saying this now. What is he? He's 17-3 as a head coach. Like, if you're doing that, there's a little bit more to it than just Aaron Rodgers. Their football team, I would say, is fairly well-rounded. Like, I mean, you and me have talked ad nauseum about how talented the New Orleans Saints are, and the Packers just straight up beat them without their star wide receiver, I might add, Devontae Adams. So I just want to know for you, Kenny, how high are you on Green Bay? Because this was a team that you said would be 10-6 to start the season. You weren't necessarily a believer. You thought the fact that they were 13-3 last year was a little bit more smoke and mirrors than anything. So how high are you on the Packers right now?
A little reduction from 13-3 last year, but still, we thought they'd win the division, still, and be a tough contender. So Matt LaFleur with that win, he is 17-3. I think that's tied for the second best start among 20 games in NFL history, behind George Seifert with Steve Young. He went 18-2. At 17-3, Matt LaFleur, I think he ties Paul Brown or John Madden, but whatever the case might be, he's 17-3, and I think they take a little bit of pressure off Aaron Rodgers with that running game, with that Shanahan, Kubiak outside zone under center system. It's really worked well for them, and they got a slew of running backs, predominantly Aaron Jones, ripped up Detroit for about 169 yards on the ground last week. Did it again this week. They're running the ball at a good clip, and you could save some years on Aaron Rodgers' career by not having to throw the ball 40, 45 times. You're still getting, somewhere in the 30s for pass attempts, but you're still going to get the efficiency and the yards and the touchdowns. You're going to get those shot plays that are going to come off play action. So it's a really good clip. Aaron Rodgers continues to make guys around him better, like Allen Lazard, Vantez Scantling, and Aaron Jones out of the backfield too. I mean, he's really moved up the running back ranks this year. Aaron Jones has, to being a complete goal threat. I am high on them, and I think they'll be wherever they might fall, they're as good right now as almost any team in the NFC. Seattle's probably a little bit better right now, but they're going to be they're going to be a tough out, and with only that number one seed getting the first round bye, I think 70% of the Super Bowl teams over the last 5 to 7 years have been teams that got the bye. That first round bye is going to be important now, and that only comes with the one seed. So if the season does kind of play out how we expect, Green Bay now has the head-to-head tiebreaker over New Orleans. I'm pretty impressed with them right now and getting enough stops too. New Orleans defense is a team now that they've given up 34-37 to Las Vegas and Green Bay. They just had a hard time getting off the field defensively and putting a lot of stress on that offense to keep it humming. So they got to clean that up a little bit. But I still think they'll be there at the end. And Drew Brees, I think his demise is a little exaggerated after Monday night. But Drew Brees still, he's been so good for so long. He's kind of graded on a curve now on just the expectations being so high for him. But 3 touchdowns tonight. He did throw for 300 yards on Monday night against Vegas too. But they could cut down on his attempts a little bit still. But he's not like 2015 Peyton Manning. He could still win you some games and be a threat. But that was a big win tonight for Green Bay.
I agree, but I think the Drew Brees that we expect to be an MVP candidate, that Drew Brees is probably dead and gone. So I think the Saints probably have to win a new way. And also, I will say in terms of the defense, like Malcolm Jenkins, he hasn't looked the same to me. He got shredded. I'm forgetting his name right now, but the tight end from Oakland just destroyed. Every time they were on him, he could do nothing with him. So I just want to see this. We talked a lot about how good the Saints roster was. How concerned are you for the Saints? Because this is a really good football team, and I know they've played the Packers are a good football team, right? And they beat Tampa to begin the season, but Tampa was also, it was the inauguration of Tom Brady, so you might be able to throw that one out. They lose to Vegas. Like, how concerned would you be with the Saints right now?
Not too much at the moment still. Once they get Michael Thomas back again, it's going to be just another threat. They would have arguably the top running back in the league and the top receiver in the league. You take a look at their upcoming schedule, what they play, 3 teams at or below the 500 mark. They got Detroit, Chargers, and the Panthers next, and then a Bears team as well. They finished the year. You take a look at their last 4 games. 3 of them are against the Eagles right now, which are going to have a tough time. They play the Chiefs, and then 0-3 Vikings, 1-2 Panthers still. So you could see how they could get hot at the end of the year too. I'm not that concerned. I think their offensive numbers clips are maybe a little bit off the pace right now from where they are in the past. But they're still. They still got Kamara as a threat. Michael Thomas is a threat. Would be nice to get Emmanuel Sanders or that third skill guy up to speed. Thinking that Emmanuel Sanders would be a really good pickup for them. Haven't seen that yet, but Dennis Allen has his work cut out for him defensively. You mentioned Malcolm Jenkins. You can match tight ends up against them. Not as fast as they used to be. So that's going to be something to watch to see if these teams like them and Seattle and Dallas, which I'm sure that we're going to touch on. All 3 of those defenses really struggling right now. Scoring is up in the NFL, but all 3 Cowboys, Seahawks, Saints routinely giving up 30 points a game.